What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol CHGG for Chegg Inc. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, let's address the elephant in the room, the obvious gap down from today's session, largely due to earnings, of course, right there. So let's go ahead and map out the gap. So certainly, the gap overhead is huge, okay? So that's that. We're looking at about $60 for round number's sake, down to about $40. What I would venture to point out is the fact that because the gap is so large, look at about a half gap as a reasonable first upside target if, and it doesn't look like it as of right now, there is any sort of lift in the stock and there is a move up and over today's high of day. The reason I say it doesn't look like it is because obviously the stock moved lower throughout the entire day, closing extraordinarily weak. So let's take a look at the 30-minute time frame chart. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in this in, make it a little easier on the eyes for us. So there we go. That is much better. What I want to do is first take a look at the Fibonacci's, then we'll search for a downside target to see, where we could potentially be headed. So we're going to throw them on for the entire day's range. What you'll notice is that at no point in time was there really a back test of the 38.2. So neither of those two little bounces or consolidation periods here even came close to 34.81. That, of course, is incredibly bearish. So what would you be looking for? Well, obviously more downside continuation, given that we've closed quite literally at the lows right here. So that brings me to my next point, which I was just talking about. What is the downside level to watch for? Well, let's scrunch up the chart, see what we have from historical data to be paying attention to. So looking left, we're kind of getting into this area. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple levels on here. Then I'll zoom in so you can see where they're actually coming from and if they coincide with anything else. So here we go. And let me zoom in now so we can actually see that. So prior pivot low, certainly nice bounce there. Kind of respected it here. Earnings gap up really did the work. And then coming into it later, you can see that this was just kind of a zone between 28.50 and 26.34. So overall, a nice area of support right here, which really produced a significant bounce. And again, that's barring any earnings announcements. There's really nothing here that said it was going to go higher other than supply and demand. So to me, that's the area to pay attention to. If we continue lower, underneath $32, we'll call it for round number's sake, the target underneath is going to be at 28.50. And then after that, you're looking at about 26.34. Remember, treat this as kind of a zone because we saw a significant bounce out of the true lows at 26, but before that we did have a bounce from in here, and then again that one was largely due to earnings in there. So those are the downside targets that I'm seeing based on the severity of the gap. Again, it doesn't really look like it wants to just magically recover and get back up into the $50 mark anytime soon. I would really wait for some sort of structural bottom, so it could look something like this, inverted head and shoulders. Let me zoom in on this so you might be able to see it a bit better. So again, inverted head and shoulders could look like this over time. Break of the neckline takes us higher. We could look for some sort of double bottom, something that forms like this. Break of the neckline takes us higher, and then we have the gap to contend with. That's what I'm thinking about. But as it sits right now, I would not try to catch the falling knife inside of Chegg. Hopefully this video was useful. If you enjoyed it or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.